So first thing I wanted to look at that we weren't able to get through earlier is the effort certification process. So I know some of us have looked at it throughout our work streams, but I don't know how much exposure everybody's gotten. So with that said, the first step in the effort certification process is to actually run the effort certification. So there's a BP, and let's look at the BP first and just look at what's going to be going on kind of in the background. So we have this business process for effort certification. So the first step is to run it and kind of, initiate or fire off that effort certification process. Once that's run, you can see we have two steps to certify, one by the employee as self, and then one from the PI, principal investigator, as well. So what we'll see in our demo is through payroll and some other testing, the effort certification kickoff or initiation step has been run. And then what we did for the sake of the demo is we just assigned a handful of grants. And I made David Nichols the PI. So we'll go into his inbox, act like he's the PI. We'll have each person kind of review an effort certification run. And then after that, we'll see it run to the employee as themselves to approve. And we can also talk about the process of, changing effort certification. So we'll see certain percentages kind of broken out, a certain amount per grant. And we can talk about the process of, making a change or an update if that's ever needed.
So just as clarification, so you showed us this BP just so we kind of an introduction, but these guys will not have access to that BP, correct?
Yeah, there won't be access to seeing this kind of behind the scenes look of what those steps are that are occurring. Yeah, I more so just showed it to give everybody a feel, an idea for where things are routing and why.
Great.
All right, so now if I go in as David Nichols, we can take a look in his inbox, and I can't even remember. So who all has proxy access? I think it may just be you, David Morris. Is that correct?
Let's see.
Probably.
If that's the case, we may just have to take a look at it and observe a bit more than actually get hands-on for now. But so I'm in his inbox, and here we can see a handful of effort certification tasks. So once again, the effort certification itself was already run. Now it's routing to the PI, who in this case, for the sake of example, is David Nichols. But it's going to route to whoever's listed as the PI on each grant. So in this effort certification certified step, you can see, here we're looking at Ava Peterson, for example, and you can see she has a grant listed here. And then also it looks like, some sort of just home or native cost center and or here. In this task, you can see that there are some different options down here. You can either submit if all looks good, or you can change your effort. Changing the effort is going to fire off the payroll accounting adjustment step, where you make your change your percentage amount, and then submit, and then it'll prompt you to then, I believe it's our sponsor programs managers, who are all the full-time employees, so all of you guys, will be prompted to create the payroll accounting adjustment needed.
Hey, Ryan?
Yep.
You spend just a 30 seconds on these percentages, kind of show how they ought to equal 100 and what it's basically saying.
Yeah, so this is pretty much showing the employees' effort and the distribution, I guess, of how much effort is occurring and on what, in a sense. So here you can see this grant 01221. So Ava Peterson, as part of her costing allocation, has this grant 01221. And then she also has what looks like just some native cost center, of this cost center 10110, electrical and computer engineering, and then also information systems here. So then what this is certifying is when payrolls run, it looks like this one's saying,
So she has 2% effort, yeah, on the grant. That's that last column. And then she has 87.6% effort on that electrical and computer engineering cost center, and then 10.4% on that information systems cost center. That first column where you see like the different percentages, that's showing you the distribution like within each I guess within each group. So like the first two, 89.4% and 10.6%, it adds up to 100%. That's saying she's 89.4% on electrical engineering, basically on any work tags without a grant. And then in that bottom section where it says 100% on the grant row, it's just saying that she's 100% on this grant, and there's no other grants that she's on. But when you're looking at like in terms of what her actual effort is, you want to look at that last column, that 2% on the grant and the 87.6 and the 10.4. And then if you add those three rows up, that adds up to 100.
It's confusing because the second line looks like a grant also.
That second line, yeah, because are you looking at the sponsored awards like Fund 05? Or which second line are you referring to?
Well, the second and the third lines have the same numbers. So it's confusing.
Oh, yeah.
for funding program.
Yeah, so normally this was just a data conversion error. You wouldn't see the Fund 05 sponsored awards without a grant word tag. Like that wouldn't happen in real life. This was just a conversion error. But yes, the work tags are the same between the second and third line, but like the cost center is the same, the fund is the same, but the key difference is that second line doesn't have the grant work tag. It's blank in that first column where the grant is listed on the third line.
We wouldn't normally see that. That would normally be below in the third line.
That second line would not be a Fund 5, it would be like a Fund 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good catch, and thank you for that explanation. That's very helpful.
It's going to take some training of the PIs to know what they're looking at.
Yes, it will.
If you look at this, the first column, and say, oh, that doesn't make sense, it doesn't add up to 100% because you've got 100% and 100%.
Yeah, we'll have to do training, obviously. And this is based on how they got paid. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. So then, looking at one of these, once again, there's a handful here, all with these different breakouts. If we looked at one, and let's see if we can maybe set up go through and change the effort on one of these, just to kind of look at that. So this one looks like we got grant 01141. And now if you click this change effort here, you'll see it opens up a screen where you then see your effort certification lines. And then over here, you have your original percent. So what it was run for. Then you have these change reasons here. So for any line that you want to change, you have to input a change reason. So let's try, and there are also some prereqs or, things you have to kind of meet. You need to make sure that everything balances, if you are making a change. So if we did a change reason, let's see if we can do this from here. So we'll say we are doing an effort correction. And let's try to do something like, maybe drop this down to 75% and say this grant line is actually 10%. So we'll see. Now we can try to test this and we'll see if we run into an issue. Like I said, there are certain things, and maybe if we get the error, it'll help explain. But there are certain things you can run into, like here we can see pay group biweekly students. Pay group down here on the grant is also biweekly students. Job profile, grad assistant research. On this one, we also see grad assistant research. So there are certain criteria that you need to meet. So if you're trying to change or correct effort, there's still some workday guidelines or pieces that need to be met before it can be successfully submitted. Let's try this. So here I hit OK. You saw me make that one change, 75, and then 10% on the grant line. And when you hit OK, you'll see this questionnaire come up. And this is something that we've configured throughout the implementation. And it's really a pretty straightforward question that just says, please provide an explanation for this change in your effort. You put something in there. Now you can see up here, effort certification status is in progress. You can see that there's this change status of changed now, where originally it said unchanged. Now you can see down here, certified, changes have been made. We dropped this one down to 75, up this one from 5 to 10 on the grant line. So now if I hit submit here as David Nichols, or the PI in this case, we're going to see it then route to the employee itself to also approve. So now we see up next, certify effort by Benjamin Dahl. Looking at the process here, once again, we see that the effort certification run was completed. David Nichols, or the PI, is going to certify, make changes if needed, submit. Now it's routing to the employee itself to also approve. And now we're going to go look in Benjamin Dahl's inbox, and he's going to see a task that says, certify this effort for this period, 10/1/23 to 10/31/2023. You can see he can evaluate. Same options down here. You can change the effort once again, or you can just certify this looks good and submit. So let's say we went through and just submitted here. Now you see we have a review from the Sponsor Programs Manager. So all of you should receive this in your inbox if you want to take a look. So here we see Sherilyn, Corbin, Cindy, David Morris, David Nichols, and Nathan here as well.
All right.
great.
So I'll route to everybody. If I just look at it from my screen, I'll go in as David Morris, for example. Or you know what, I'll do David Nichols because I know he's not in the room with us right now. So all of you guys, once again, should be able to see the same thing, but I'll go in as David Nichols just for the sake of my example. Sharing my screen here. And here you can see, as Sponsor Programs Manager, I have the ability to review. So it's saying, take a look at this, make sure everything looks accurate. And then any of you Sponsor Programs Managers can hit this submit, and then it'll take it out of everybody's inbox. So it's not like every single person needs to do it type thing. It's just one person as Sponsor Programs Manager reviews and approves, and then it's good to go. That task is completed. So as David Morris, or I'm sorry, as David Nichols here, we'll say he reviews and he says all looks good. Submit. And now you see once we hit submit, since we made a change to the effort, we're then prompted to complete the task, create payroll accounting adjustment for effort certification. So when we take a look at that, you can see a lot of the information auto-populates in based on the effort certification run. You can see the employee here, Benjamin. You can see his position, pay component, and down here, you see the proposed adjustments made based on that effort certification change. So here we see our grant line. Here you see the grant work tag, grant 01141. Once again, due to the data conversion error that Ellie called out for us, you can see this line is our non-grant funded line. So the fund, that's a correction that's going to be made, as well as the program of this sponsored research. But the idea still stands, one grant line with the updated proposed adjustments, and then also the non-grant line as well. You can see in the current journal line section, most of these are hard-coded. So, there's some information here that you can view. And then down here in the proposed adjustments, that's where you can see, the fields kind of open up for you. You have the ability to add or remove, make changes if needed.
If you scroll over to the right, does that give you like the percentage or anything?
So this is out. Yeah.
Because we were working in percentages before, so then changing it to dollar amounts or hours, I just was curious.
Yeah, it's not going to show you percentages on this payroll accounting adjustment screen. Workday translates those percentages into dollar amounts for you. So it's not like a field we can add or anything.
That's fine. I was just wondering if that was on there. So thanks.
Yep.
I don't want to go off topic. I got a real curiosity question. You said that it's open, like I can see down there. So it created those amounts based on the percentages. If someone went in and changed those amounts, would it change back the percentage on effort reporting, or would it? I mean, there would be no reason really to touch those, but I'm just wondering if someone did.
Right. So yeah, you shouldn't touch those because those are based on the percentages. But I think if someone were to change it, it wouldn't reflect on the current effort certification that was just certified essentially. I think you would have to recertify effort for the new changes to post or, to be reflected correctly.
Okay. I just didn't know if maybe there's. I don't see the reason to have those open. I don't know if we could have. I guess that's a system thing, right?
Mhm. Right.
Okay.
Right. So now let's say from here, once again, this is the payroll accounting adjustment section. You can hit submit here. And now you see, so we kind of transitioned in a sense from the effort certification business process into the payroll accounting adjustment business process. So we changed the effort that prompted the payroll accounting adjustment business process to fire. So now you see, as sponsored programs manager, I submitted that payroll accounting adjustment. And now in this business process, there's an approval from grant configurator, which is David Nichols, Sherilyn, and David Morris. And you can see here, it just restricts the initiator. So since David Nichols submitted this initiation step, it's going to route to Sherilyn and David, and one of them would have to approve that payroll accounting adjustment. If Sherilyn were to initiate the payroll accounting adjustment and submit that, then we would see David Morris and David Nichols here to approve that adjustment. So one of them could go in, review the adjustment. We can see it here, awaiting your action. Here's the review. You can see a lot of information here. Most of the same information that the initiator saw initially, David Nichols in our case. So he can say, okay, looks good. Now we completed that adjustment as well. So kind of once again, it kind of turns into a two-step process when a change is made. So when the effort is changed in the certification process, it's going to then fire off that payroll accounting adjustment process as well.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's a really nice
Yeah.
feature.
It's good, and all the
Just jumps
information
right
is
in
in
there,
there, you
yeah.
just have to, yeah, that's good.
Just have to walk through it instead of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, we doing it right.
Yeah, so that's good.
Awesome. All right, so then the next thing we wanted to look at, based on the information that was, discussed back and forth about business process, we still needed to see. I know that there was one called out for, I believe it was the budget hub events and the budget amendment event. So, I believe in our initial award setup, we went through the budget hub event. We can still take a look back at that though. And just go through that process once more and then go through the amendment as well. So with that said, what's up?
Before we do that, I'm sorry, do we have,
Yeah.
did it take very long? I'm just thinking, lots of times auditors will come and say, I'd like to see the effort certification for this person. How would it, we want to just go and say, I know that there's a person, I need to see their effort certification for this period of time. Is that easy to show?
Yeah, so there are a couple different reports.
Be a report.
The status report is one that you can use. So you can look it up by employee here.
Okay.
So we're just doing like Benjamin Dahl. So you can find him. And then you can see there's an effort certification date from and date to. So the one that we just ran was for October of 23. So let's just try that. Let's do those dates and then run it for that specific employee. And then here you can click in and see the information that we just kind of went through there.
Right.
There's also like this effort certification work area where you can see effort certification that's been run and then where it's at in the business process. So you can see like there's 63 outstanding right now. So once again, effort certification was run for this month of October. And then you can see there's a handful out there that are awaiting certification as well. So like this one can be beneficial if you're trying to see where it may be getting held up at. But like you were saying, if it's kind of an auditing type thing and it's already, you want to find effort certification after the fact, after it's already been run and certified and all that good stuff, you can run that status report and search for that by a specific employee.
Sure. Thank you, because that will happen.
Gotcha.
Where do you run the effort like as a whole to send it to the fact to the PIs? Is there another?
Yeah, so that was run, like I said, that was run a little bit earlier. At some point, I don't know if they did it through, some sort of payroll testing, but just to look at it, it's this run effort certification task. And then you can run it for BYU. We only have one effort certification type, this federal government funded research. And then you can run the effort cert for the entire population, or you can specify certain employees.
We could split it between like faculty and students.
Probably could, but I think we're going to change the process that way. We could do it all.
Just all in one lump. So where it says federal government funded research, will it still pull in if they work on a federal project and then a non-federal, will it pull all the data in? But it won't run it if they only run it.
My understanding is yes on that to Ryan and Ellie.
And what was that one? Sorry.
That we're selecting anyone who is paid on a federal research project, but then it pulls for that person all the paid components. So if they were paid also on a non-federal one, that would pull in also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So all you have to do is put in. Is it quick to finish the process? Like if you just click use effort, type for everybody.
Yeah, and then you'd run it for us, whatever your effort certification date is, and then that's going to generate the PI approval process that we talked about. So like when we were looking in the status report, or actually I'm gonna do this effort cert work area. So in this work area report, once again, you can see like 63 employees have effort certification kind of sitting outstanding waiting for approval. And that's because of that run effort certification task. So you do that run effort certification, you choose the population, choose the start and end dates for that effort certification process that you want to run. And then when you hit OK and run that, that's going to be the quote unquote initiation step of the effort certification business process. And then it's going to route to the PI to certify and then kind of run through that process that we just did. Once the PI reviews, then it'll route to the employee itself, who will also approve and certify their effort. If there's changes, costed changes that are made, then it's going to fire off that payroll accounting adjustment, which will then be done by the sponsor programs managers. So one of you, full-timers in the room. And then once that's submitted, then it's going to go to that grant configurator security role for approval, which would be Sherilyn, and then David Morris, David Nichols. And then that's going to complete that payroll accounting adjustment process.
So when they certify, say I run this run effort certification, send it out across campus, when they certify, am I gonna get something in my task box that says, Joe Smith has certified his effort, or Abe Lincoln, whatever, or is it just, I just keep track by looking at that other report?
So I don't believe as of now we have any like type of notifications or anything like that set up. So to my knowledge, there's not necessarily gonna be any notice other than the fact that we have let's look back at this business process behind the scenes. I want to double check. We have the approval from Sponsored Programs Manager, which is going to be, once again, all of you. Can't remember. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, anytime that there's a change made, it's going to route to all of you to review that change and make sure it's accurate and approved. So in that sense, you're going to be notified. You know, at least one of you will be.
If they just sign it and say, yep, I certify it's right, no changes. would
And
we
then,
know-
so yeah, if the PI and the employee both certify, you know, it was run as is, we say it looks good, we didn't make any changes, then this approval is not going to fire off. So in that case, you technically wouldn't really get any type of like notification or shout that it's been certified.
We can run the report, follow up.
So yeah, exactly. You would just run the report most likely.
And individually, so please sign this.
Thank you.
Yep. No problem. All right. So I'm gonna transition to the budget piece then, if that's good with everybody. I was trying to think of the best way to go about this. So like I said, I don't want us to go through having to set up the whole award again and go through that whole thing, but we also have the Budget Hub event as a sub process in our award event business process. So it's kind of hard to go through setting up the award budget without going through and recreating an award. So what I was thinking was all of us should be able to search for this view award report. And then we should have awards that we had previously created. So like when I scroll down here, I see a bunch of our demo awards. What I think would probably be quickest and easiest is if each of us just find one of our old awards. And when you click into that, so like I'll do it on my demo award here. You can copy the award. So I went into view award, I clicked on my award, and then when I hover over the related actions, you can see that there's an option to copy. So I'm thinking we just copy our awards. That's going to pull in a lot of the information that we've already populated. And then we'll just have to quickly go through the fun of the approvals and all that to get to our Budget Hub event.
Find one of mine. Did you find yours? Lisa?
Yeah, I'm not finding.
I just grabbed one. Does it
I
matter?
searched my initials. Did I do my initials? DM?
So a thing to look out for is if you, on the ones that you guys clicked, if you want to double check the award status and version status, you just want to make sure you see approved and award in effect. Because some of the awards may be awaiting approvals or something of that nature currently. So like,
We want to say approved.
oh, like this perfect example, I guess, would be this one. So this CE demo award, you can see its approval in process for the award status. So that's awaiting some sort of approval somewhere. And here you can see it's waiting the billing schedule setup. So Corbin, if you're there and you just want to roll with this one, we can go through and just set up the billing schedule. And then the next step after you submit the billing schedule is going to be to set up that budget. So that one kind of worked out. We actually don't even need to do the whole award setup portion. So I'm wondering if maybe some of the ones that you guys clicked on have a similar thing going on where it's not fully approved. If the award's fully approved and the award's in effect, you should be able to see that copy award task off the related actions. And then you can do that as well.
How do you see the copy? Sorry.
Which one are you guys looking at?
I'm doing 597.
597. Let's see it.
Got 532.
This one's a draft. So I would just do edit then for that one. Sherilyn? That was you.
Does it let me? I'll discard.
But this one's also just not complete, so there's not going to be the copy option.
See that it's not complete, so I look at, on my screen it shows, oh, now it's 590, sorry. 597 was the copy, because it shows approved and award in effect.
Okay. 590.
Copy. I'm gonna
Change section word.
I'll just save something on this. Continue, but then it gave me an error.
We can also just create a new award also, if that is easier.
Matches a great name for an existing.
All we really need to get to, like I said, is like we got to get through the award initiation and then the billing schedule process, because then that's going to fire off our next step to set up a budget.
Go down to award, and then over to copy, go to, and then just change the title with your name or something, so so it's different.
So revised.
Okay, and then click save and continue.
Like, scroll this.
And then you get like,
This is awesome. Thank you. That's something else what they're doing.
that's the only thing I do, because I just think that's it.
Feel me to throw your bag away?
And you're now draft.
Okay, so now I'm in draft with 602, and now I've got to enter all these dates and stuff.
Okay, anybody else, everybody in the draft one?
Yep.
Where it says copy award, you mean just where it says copy award?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, mine just says copy award.
Like I'm now on award 598.
599.
All right, I'm seeing some new ones. Always a good sign. All right, so I'll just do it for the sake of all of us to be able to see it on the shared screen as well. So I'm just going to copy this one. So I hit save and continue on the copy award, and you can see by doing the copy award, it pulls in a lot of the information, like a lot of information, so you don't have to just redo it. You can see we have an award calendar with start and end dates. We see the sponsor pulled in, assistance listing pulled in if there's one, associated with it. There are a couple things we still have to add though. So like award date is going to be one. So I'm going to say my award date is just the same as my calendar start date here. So in my example, that's 5/13/2024. And then we can see another error that we'll run into if we try to submit now is the fact that we have a line amount, but we don't have the authorized amount in there yet. So once again, we need to make sure our line amount and our authorized amount equal. So my line amount is 120,000, which you can see here. I only have the one award line, so my total award contract amount is just that 120,000 as well. So down here, I'm gonna say my authorized amount is $120,000 authorized. I'm gonna put the same up here in my indirect cost, or my sponsor direct cost. So now we see we have sponsor direct cost of 120,000, sponsor total of 120,000, award total of 120,000, line amount of 120,000, and then this authorized amount. So everything checks out now. If I look at my lines, once again, since we copied the award, you can see a lot of the information pulls in. If we look over at our plan, you can see plan structure of award pulls in. So once again, that's going to tell us or tell Workday, we're setting up an award budget. There's obviously different budgets you can have. So we have these different budget structures broken out for our different budgets. So we'll use the award one. And now you can hit submit, and hopefully everybody's goes through. We'll see.
There.
And if we get an error, I have faith that hopefully we can figure it out.
It's equal to submit award. You heard.
That's a
So at the top line, okay, direct cost.
Hopefully even this stuff's good training. Like I said, even though I know we're focusing on the budget piece, I think creating awards and all that can still be helpful. So good to work through kinks and things that come up. So you can see I submitted mine, and now it says up next award billing specialist. So we just have to quickly set up the billing schedule. And then once we set up the billing schedule, then we'll get to the budget piece. So in mine, we have our award billing specialist. So we submitted the initiation step of the award event. And now on my screen, you can see in the process tab, now we're waiting for the award billing schedule to be set up. We're waiting on these 9 people who are our award billing specialists to set up the billing schedule. So similar to when we were looking at the sponsored programs manager on the effort certification piece, anybody listed here can set up the billing schedule, and it'll be complete and moved out of the task box. So there's 9 people that it routes to, and then anybody can go in and be like, okay, this is my award, or I'm responsible for setting up this billing schedule. I'm going to go into my tasks and set up the billing schedule. So for mine, I'll go in as one of the students, but the rest of you should be able to see it in your tasks.
I'll see that box.
That box that you're showing us, where did you get that?
So I went into my award.
Oh, you clicked on that.
Yep. And then I went to the process right here.
Okay, so I'm in the process. And my screen looks like your screen right now.
Okay.
Oh, did you click on that 9?
And then I clicked in the 9 to just see all people.
So that just shows all the people that could do it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, you guys should all be able to go into this little box, the My Tasks up here, and you guys should be able to see the, step prompting you to then set up the billing schedule. I'll go in here and do it for myself as well.
Line 598 in line.
So here I'm in as Josh Wilson, but once again, you guys should all be able to see it in your tasks. But here I see my demo award down here. So I'm going to set up the billing schedule for that one. You guys can all pick the awards that you just went through and set up. So I'm gonna hit create billing schedule. We have transaction or installment billing schedules. Once again, I know this isn't what we're focusing on right now, but always good to talk about. Transaction is going to be just like it sounds. You can bill every time you have a transaction that uses that grant. So if I went through and created like a supplier invoice for $5,000 and I had my grant tagged on it, I'd be able to then go in and create a sponsor invoice for that expenditure amount to then bill the sponsor back for reimbursement. Installment is going to be more of a schedule. So, we bill $1,000 every month to the sponsor. So we have monthly installments of $1,000 broken out. So that's kind of the difference between the transaction versus the installment-based billing schedule. So we'll just say transaction. Hit OK. When we do transaction, you'll see it opens up to the billing and schedule information. Really, the most important things here are just saying whether it's standard or prepaid schedule type. Invoice type. So this is going to be the layout that's generated. So, we have a bunch of these different invoice types. Invoice type is shared across customer accounts and grants. So you'll see some invoice types that aren't really grant specific. Hence why we have grant called out in all of our grant specific invoice types. And then here we have this grant standard. I'm just going to choose grant standard for my invoice type. And then lastly, you just want to tie the line into your billing schedule. So I see my one line here. I'm just going to click my checkbox and say this is the award line that I want to use on my billing schedule. Is everybody good up to that point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to hit save and continue. When you hit save and continue, then we're going to see this box for done. And then one last thing we have to do, I think I've called it out before. It's a little bit wonky, I think, but we have to go back in and hit edit and then submit this schedule through. So there's that little button to hit edit there. Here you can hit OK. And now we see we have this button here for submit. This is going to take the schedule out of draft and move it into approved status. So here, once again, I'm viewing the billing schedule. I can see the information. I can see my award here. I'm just going to hit submit and send this all the way through. So now I hit submit. Now I'm going to hit OK here and just get out of this. Now I see, my billing schedule, once again, award 603. I can see my schedule status is approved. So now I've completed the billing schedule as well. And I just have to hit done here. Everybody okay so far? When I hit done here, it should fire off the award budget hub event, which will then show us, prompt us to set up the budget. So I'm going to hit done. When I've hit done, now you see up next, award budget hub. So now we're prompted to set up the budget. So all of you guys, I believe, are also budget specialists. So it should be in your inbox once again. In case anybody's not there, I'm going to cancel out really quick. And now I'm in Josh Wilson's inbox. And I can see here, I have this company budget for my award 603. So I'm clicking into that, and now I see I can maintain the budget here, this orange button. So I'm gonna hit maintain. Then I'm gonna hit OK. And this is gonna open up the budget structure for me. So now I see object class, grant, additional work tags, and amount. So you can set up the budget however you want, right? You know, you can have one line and the whole $120,000 in my case budgeted to that one line of materials and supplies, for example. You can also break it out. So you can have like a salaries line, a supplies line, a travel line. So you have some freedom, obviously. You just set up the budget based on whatever the contract calls out. So I'm just going to say like travel and materials for mine. Then you see the grant section here. So you're only going to be able to choose the grant or grants that are tied to your award. So my award only had the one award line with the one grant. So all I see is that one grant to choose from. And if you guys set up your awards similarly and only have the one award line, you'll also only see your one grant that you can choose for the budget amount. So now I'm just going to break out my amounts. So I'll say, we have 70,000 budgeted for materials and supplies and 50 for travel, something like that. So now I see my award amount was 120,000. You can see for my budget period, I also have 120,000 broken out. You can see in my years, we have our award schedule. So we have $120,000 budgeted for this period of 5/13/24 to 5/12/2025. Once everybody has that, your budget set up however you'd like, we can hit OK. When you hit OK, you're going to see you still have this orange button for maintain here. So if you needed to go back in and change anything, you can do that. Then there's this button for submit. If we hit submit, this is going to send it through the, complete the business process. And then I believe we have an approval of some sort, but if we hit submit, we'll see who's next up. So when I hit submit, you can see, please review the template, click OK to submit for approval. So I can see my 120,000 here. If I click in, I can see, okay, it's broken out for $50,000 for travel, $70,000 for materials. You can hit OK here, and this is going to submit it for approval. And then in our plan business process, we have a step to submit. So I hit OK, and now I see this submit section here. So I'm going to hit this approve. Prove that you're good to submit. And then now we're still in our award business process. So what we've done so far, we submitted the award contract. We created and submitted the billing schedule. And now we created and submitted the budget. So now we have this step here that says update the quality account ID to match the award number in Workday. So this is just a to-do step, and it should look familiar. We've gone through it in one of our COE trainings in the past. But all this is pretty much saying is, hey, reminder, do this. Update the quality account ID to match the award number and workday. So all this step's really saying is, okay, I did that. And then you can submit. When you hit submit, you'll see one final approval from the sponsored programs managers, which is once again all of the full-timers. So this is here pretty much for when, if a student submits it like I did, Josh Wilson, there's a final approval from sponsored programs managers to review the entire thing. Review the award contract, review the billing schedule, review the budget that was set up, and then approve that everything looks good before the award's fully completed. So all of you guys should be able to find an award. I'm not sure if we restricted initiators. So you guys should either be able to approve your own award or it may exclude you. We can double check that on the business process.
When I click on mine, it does, there is an approve, like if I go back into my task.
Okay. Okay.
And
Then yeah, you should be able to just approve your own.
Just approve my own.
Just find it in your task.
I'll go ahead and approve mine as David Nichols. So here's my award, award 603. I am just going to say, all right, I'm surveying it, looking at it. All looks good. You can see the budget information broken out here. I can see the process. All right, Josh Wilson created my billing schedule and my budget. He updated the quality account ID. All right, everything looks good. I'm going to approve. All right, and now we're through. So that's the Budget Hub process. Well, that's the whole award process, but the Budget Hub included. So the next thing I want to look at is creating a budget amendment. So there are a few different ways you can go about the budget amendment. You can either just search for create budget amendment, or we have it listed as another sub-process in our award amendment and corrections. So if you go in and you try to correct an award, once you submit your correction, it's going to prompt you, hey, if necessary, create a budget amendment. So two ways to do it. First way, let's just look at searching for create budget amendment. So I'm in here, I search create budget amendment. You can see the task right here. Go ahead and just click into that. When you do that, you'll see some required fields. You have to choose plan structure and company. So we're going to choose our award plan structure. We're going to choose our company, BYU. And then for our plan name, just go and find the award that you guys just created. So here's my award 603. So I'm going to choose that one.
What's your
And I'm going to hit that. And then here you can see this populate existing budget lines. So what I recommend, or what I normally like to do, is just choose my plan period as well and just bring that in. So once I have all of this chosen, I'm going to hit OK. And now I see this field open up. First things I see are these required fields here. So you have to choose a date for the budget amendment. You have to choose a description of the amendment you're making. And then you have to choose amendment type. We just have one amendment type. So everything for awards is just going to fall under this sponsored award amendment type. So you choose that, and then description, be as crazy and creative as you'd like. I'm pretty boring, so I'm gonna say demo budget amendment. So then you can see here, there's a section for balanced amendment, and the checkbox is set to yes for now. So what this is going to drive is whether or not you get an error for the type of amendment that you make. So if I have balanced amendment checked, I'm going to have to make sure that it still adds up to 120,000, and anything that I'm removing or adding to one line has to be taken out from another. So if I'm saying, oh shoot, I said 50,000 was budgeted for travel and 70,000 was budgeted for materials and supplies, but it's actually 80,000 for materials and supplies, then I need to go and remove 10,000 from this plan line so that it's still, I'm doing quotes here, balanced. If you uncheck that, you're kind of free to just run with whatever you need to do. You can add $10,000 here, and you don't necessarily have to balance it out by removing it from another line. So for this example, I'm going to keep balanced amendment on and just say, when I was initially creating this award and setting up this budget, I broke it out for 50,000 and 70,000, but it's actually only 40,000 for travel and 80,000 for materials. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this as well. If you were looking at my screen, you saw that I just went into the plan and just changed the total amount. You can also go into like amount change, and I could have said, all right, I'm subtracting 10,000 from this line and I'm adding 10,000 to this line. And then that'll auto-populate or auto-calculate the total plan amount. So you can, go different ways about how exactly you populate and change this information. Same with percent. Like in my example, I didn't go in and say negative 20% and 14.285 so on percent. But when I changed this to 40,000 and changed this line to 80,000, you can see these columns just auto-populate there. So once you guys make the update that you want to make, go ahead and hit submit. And now I hit submit, and now you can see my budget amendments completed. I'm back in my award now. So I viewed my award. If you guys are there, great. If not, you can just search for your award number. And then when I click into plan, when I scroll down, you can see that my budget is reflecting what I changed it to when I created that amendment. I see 40,000 for travel. I see 80,000 for my materials and supplies. Bro. So the other possible, way that I kind of see a budget amendment getting done. So in that one, how I see that go would usually be you truly just need to make a correction to the budget, and you're like, okay, I don't need to go and like necessarily change my entire award. I just need to go and update those budget lines, So for mine, I went from 50,000 and 70,000 to 40,000 and 80,000. If you have to truly make a correction, we'll do that off the related actions of the award. And then when we create the correction, we'll see that sub-process fire off that says, hey, create a budget amendment if necessary. So if everyone can, just get to their award. So search view award or search for your award number. Just get to the screen here that I'm on. And then once you're there, we're going to hit the related actions, this orange Twinkie button. whatever you want to call it. And we'll hit the related actions, hover over award, and then we have this option that we can correct down here. So we can click correct. When we click correct, we'll see, our award contract kind of opens back up. You can update the award date. You can update amount. So this is why in the award correction and the award amendment business processes, we have this to-do step to create the budget amendment if necessary. Because not every correction or every amendment is going to necessarily be a funding change. So there might be a correction that you make, like I'm trying to think of one pretty basic and straightforward. Like you could be changing the assistance listing. Well, that's not really going to be a budget change. So you'll be able to just bypass the budget amendment step next. But let's say that we're creating a correction that does drive a budget change as well. So let's say this award's actually, I don't know, I'm just gonna say 130,000. I'm updating my direct cost. I'm gonna update my authorized amount. And then I'm gonna update my line amount as well. So in my line amount, I'm going to say 130,000 as well. So I went through, I corrected my line amount, 130,000. On the overview, in funding details, I updated the sponsored direct cost and the authorized amount. So now I see, once again, 130,000, 130,000 total, 130,000 in my line amount, and 130,000 authorized. When you create a correction, there's a couple things you have to do. So in other information, you'll have to put in a correction reason. And you also have to leave a comment. So let's say I try to just submit and I don't put in this information. You'll see we get an error. It says enter a comment describing the corrections made to this award. So once again, just add in a comment that says, and then reason, you can see we have a handful of different reasons that we've configured. So there's just a data error correction. You can see funding change. So for mine, I'm going to say funding change. So once I add in my reason and my comment, I'm going to try to resubmit. So now I resubmitted, and now you see up next, create budget amendment if necessary. So this is a to-do step. So I can either click this to-do right here, or I can go back into my tasks, and I'll be able to see it there as well. So here's my award 603. And then here you can see you can either create the budget amendment or you can just hit submit. So this is going to be the difference of, whether or not the correction you made drives a budget amendment or not. For mine, it does. I made a funding change. I said, oh, this award's actually $130,000. So therefore, I need to go update my budget. If I was just changing the assistance listing or something like that, I would still get this create budget amendment to-do step, but I would just be like, I don't, the correction didn't impact the budget. I'm good. I'm just going to hit submit.
So
in this example,
like in your example, if you were to just hit submit, would it error out and say you have to create the budget amendment?
I don't believe so. I'll try that. Let's see. Yeah, so I just marked mine as complete. and it didn't drive any, didn't give me an error. And the reason for that is uh, Workday doesn't really know exactly what the correction is that you make. It knows that you're going through and you create a correction. And that's part of the reason that we have like the comments and all of that, so that people at BYU are able to go back and say, what was this correction? What'd you do? Okay, here's the comment. But it's also a bit of, I don't know, honor system or something along those lines where you, you won't be notified, I guess, like we just saw there, that I didn't actually update the budget.
Then your plan would not match.
Correct.
So got it.
So it's important, it's important that when you make the award correction, Workday is going to let you know, hey, create this budget amendment if necessary, but it's not necessarily going to say, we know that you need to create this budget amendment. You didn't, you can't continue. So you'll be notified to do it, but it's important to actually go in and hit create budget amendment rather than just hitting submit like I just did. If you do that, there's still, you still have the ability to go through and create your amendment. So like in my case here, I went through, I hit submit and didn't actually change the budget at all. So what I would do is just go and do what we did at first. I would just research, create budget amendment, and then update my budget this way.
So I don't know. I have a question because I'm doing the budget amendment and I just added funds. And so do I have to uncheck balanced amendment for it to go through? If I'm just adding, I'm not taking away from another category?
Yep, correct. And if you keep balanced, you should get an error. So like if I was going to do this, okay, yeah. So then if you uncheck, that's going to allow you to update the original plan data to reflect the amendment that you made. So I'm just going to say 90,000 for materials. So now I see, up here at the top, I have my award amount of 130,000. This budget amendment total is 10,000. I just added 10,000 to my materials and supplies line. And now I see budget total of 130. So once you make the change that you want to make, you can hit submit. It should run through. So here on my screen, I see budget amendment completed. I can hit view details here. I see my green check mark says successfully completed. Down here in the details, you can see your award information. You can see the budget amendment entry that you made. If you click on your plan, you can get back to your award. You can also just search view award, several different ways to get back to the award. But if you click into the plan on your award profile, you'll be able to just see the change that was made. So your plan should reflect the amendment that you made. So for my example, you can see I have my 90,000 line and then my 40,000 line.
So I have a question at the top of my screen. So at the bottom, it reflects the budget change. But at the top of my screen, right in the middle where it says sponsor direct cost, sponsor indirect cost, it does not reflect the new amount.
No, mine doesn't either. Mine still shows the old amount.
Where's that at specifically?
At the top of the screen, right in the middle where it says sponsor direct cost / sponsor indirect cost.
Yep.
The new amount is not reflected there, it's the old amount.
So when you made your award correction, What all did you change?
I added a new budget category, or no, I just changed, I added $1,000 to materials and supplies. That's what I did.
So what I'm thinking it sounds like is you probably created the budget amendment. So you went through and did the budget amendment, but on the award correction is where we updated the amount as well on the actual award contract. So like here I am on my award profile. On the related actions, I went in and I hovered over award here, and then I hit correct. And I corrected the amount. So I added here. In the funding details is where you should see the amount reflect on your actual contract. So like in my example, my original award was 120,000.
Like just where it shows one line.
And then overview funding details.
Yeah, I thought I changed my.
I know, I thought we all did that
Reflecting
together,
it,
right?
yeah.
We all did that together?
I
still
changed
have my
somewhere
same
to
old
them.
amount
So
too.
you do too?
Yeah.
Okay, all of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
same.
all missed something.
All of us still have our old amount up there. So we
Okay.
must have all.
Okay, so are you guys on correct now? Similar to what mine looks like a little bit. Correct.
Okay, correct.
So when you correct in the funding details,
Oh, I don't either. I wonder if we need to
We're in
like
the middle of
approve
something.
something or something.
Yeah, I don't have correct either.
None of us have
Okay.
correct.
so your award's probably in process, some sort of approval. So here's what we're gonna do. So on your award, hit setup in history. You guys see this tab?
It's correction process.
If you go to setup in history and then process history, you should be able to see the process that you've gone through up to this point. So like, looking at mine, you can see I created the award. Josh created my billing schedule. Josh created my budget. And then we have an approval. And then I went through and I corrected the award, created the budget amendment. So I'm curious to see on your guys' awards if there's some stuff here that says awaiting.
Award correction event.
Yeah, the second
Awaiting
award
action.
correction event, because yours says automatic approval in the status, so you probably because of your access, but ours says awaiting action.
Yeah, all right.
Gotcha. Okay. And who's it waiting on?
Any of us?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys can just go through and
What it to do.
Go there.
So we can't do our own.
So
So we just
How
go
did
to
you
the
get
inbox then, or?
I clicked on the hyperlink there.
Okay.
So it takes us to a screen that says it's the orange create budget amendment or submit at the bottom.
okay.
I have to just submit.
Waiting to do.
Yeah.
So it really just depends what your budget looks like now.
We changed the budget, so that was good.
Yep.
We'll see.
We're submitting.
You have marked this.
Oh, okay. All right. So now you go into the award again.
All right. So yeah, do you guys want to go back and view your award again? And let's see what this section looks like now.
Ta-da!
Is it right now?
Mine is.
How do I get there? Where I just
So
clicked.
Live
wherever it's for award.
There we go. Okay, now it's right. Woohoo!
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, the reason for that was just because the approval was still in process. So it's not going to reflect the change you made until, that's fully approved and reviewed. So good to know. Yeah, you did it correctly. Just had to get one more approval in there.
Okay. There's a lot of like I guess if we're approving
I'm
our
just
own.
picturing
Are we
this.
allowed to approve our own on that, or
I
does
mean,
someone
I did
else have-
just now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing a lot of
I'm-
screenshots.
Yeah, David and Sherilyn specifically may be able to back me up on this, but I'm pretty sure for the award correction process, the main reason we added that approval was if students submit a correction, that it routes to you guys to then review and approve. But if you guys are actually creating the correction, it's, I think you have the ability to just approve your own, say it's good.
All right, that's a great idea.
All right. I know we're getting close to time. I think the last thing we wanted to look at was the purchase order. So to create a purchase order, so obviously there's several different ways you can spend with grant funds. You can do supplier invoice, you can include a grant on an expense report. Purchase orders, no exceptions. So you can create a purchase order and add a grant on that. I don't. So let's take a quick look at who has the ability to create purchase orders. Because I believe it's more so AP than it is the grants group.
So we do have to create, I have to create them sometimes for sub-awards. So will I have to ask someone in AP to do that now then?
So let's double check. I believe you should be fine because we have a sub-award specialist role that allows you to create some of this.
Okay.
So, it gives you the ability to search for and do some of these spend business processes. So create purchase order. Yeah, so it looks like as of now, the buyers, inventory specialists, and services coordinators have the ability to create the purchase order. So that's probably something we'll have to think about or talk more about, Sherilyn. If you need the ability to create purchase orders, we'll probably have to just confer with, I don't know, the larger group a bit to make sure, considering it's a shared business process, it's not like just owned by grants. But if that's the case, we definitely want to make sure you have some sort of security, whether that's like adding you to one of these roles or adding the role to the initiating action. Because I'm guessing as of now, you're not included in any of these. We can double check.
Is the sub-award specialist a defined role in Workday?
It is, yep.
I think like the easiest thing to do would be to add purchase order ability to that role.
When I when I
So-
type in create purchase order, I get options and I can do it. I can Oh, but it says no items. So no, I can't.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's what happened. Never mind.
So
I'll be quiet.
also, Sherilyn, also with subawards, normally we'll set those up as a supplier contract or a requisition from a Workday perspective. So like if I look at view the security for creating a supplier contract. This should include subaward specialist. Yeah. So you should be able to create supplier contracts. I am curious. I might try to proxy in as one of you. So you said you could search for create.
Yeah, and actually it's Cindy that's the one that's going to be doing that. So Cindy Cedarholm.
Okay. Let's just take a look at what the access looks like here. Yeah, so I don't just see the general create purchase order task. Looks like there are some additional ones: create purchase order schedule for supplier contract, create purchase orders for supplier contract installments. For most, for people included in those other security roles like buyer, I think like inventory specialist was one. They can just search for See here, there's this task that just says creates purchase order. So we
Okay.
may just need to think about who exactly would need that access. Because as of now, Cindy, I don't see this general create purchase order task for you based on the security that you have.
That sounds good. I mean, we can talk about that process. Maybe
Yeah,
it
we'll
does
just-
lie
yeah,
with,
we do that.
you know, purchasing now. I just let them know what I need or something. I don't know. Like, I'm willing to be flexible, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so then when we hit create purchase order, you can see some required fields. Company, supplier. So you just choose the supplier. I'm just gonna say like a random one. Currency gets brought in by the supplier. Work tag. And then in here, you can then just tag a grant, like I said. Several different ways to, it's gonna be similar for like supplier invoice, similar for like expense report. But on the line, you can just add the work tag, the grant work tag. So like if I just said my farm copy, so you can choose the grant. Here's my award 603. I'll use that grant. And then you can choose, spend category and submit that. Like this.